You're listening to Extinction Radio FM. Listen to the podcast at extinctionradio.com.
So in terms of Whistling in the Dark, I don't know if people have heard so much of the group. It kind of started off as a smallish group, Mike, and I remember a conversation about wanting to keep it small and intimate. Was ever any conclusion come to about that?
I did ask the group that question once.
Yeah.
It was a mixed bag of results where people would want to keep it a small group, and then there was another.
I think I maybe came in and said something which rocked the boat, as usual,
About keeping the group bigger.
Well, not keeping it bigger, but I think.
Well, at least allowing for more people to come into it, which is pretty much what we've been doing.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you do want to keep it small and kind of intimate, but on the other hand, there's maybe a lot of people that will need that similar type of support that you wouldn't want to exclude them from.
Yeah. How many members do you have right now, Mike?
Off the top of my head, I honestly don't know.
Yeah? But does it feel like about a few hundred? Or?
I think it's about 176.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not above 200.
Yeah, it's about 176. So as you grow exponentially, which you think you would do, although I must admit the near-term Human Extinction Support Group, which Extinction Radio runs in conjunction with, just to remind everybody, is not growing exponentially at all. So maybe there's more people in denial or just don't want to go there than we think, I'm not sure.
I really don't find that surprising. I can't imagine, even as after collapse occurs, that even human beings will start to contemplate near-term human extinction. I think it will always be a small percentage of people that actually get it, let alone think about it and accept it.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I agree with you, Mike.
Yeah, I reserve judgment on it, to tell you the truth. I'm not 100% sure which way this is going to go. But did you find there's a great pressure on admins in the group, Mike? Do you have a lot of admin work to do there?
In Whistling in the Dark, I admin 2 groups. In neither one of them, there's not a whole lot of admitting that I think I need to do now. I find you kind of goes in cycles.
Right.
Where maybe every now and then you kind of get or have a need to bring in the reins and just try to focus the group on what it needs to focus on in the meaning of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what is the other group, Mike?
It's the methane clathrate time bomb.
The methane clathrate time bomb. Could you tell us a bit about that?
I think that's Dorsey Diaz's group, isn't it? Dorsey Lynn Diaz? She started it?
Dorsey started it. It's a group that's focused on the methane cathrates that exist up in the Arctic that could possibly turn into a great catastrophe, and by that, a 50 gigaton methane burst from those cathrates as the Arctic warms.
Yeah, we always talk about this 50 gigaton burst, right? But I remember that original interview with Shakova, and I remember her saying, if only 1% of it went off.
Could you tell us about that original interview? What was it called, Marilyn? Can we find it somewhere? What's her first name?
Natalia Shakova.
Yeah.
Shakova. If you put Shakova's name in YouTube, you'll get a series of videos. There are some more recent extensive video interviews by Nick Breeze. But this one, I think, was 2012, if I remember correctly, the original one. And in that interview, she's speaking for the group, but she's with, I think, Smelitov is the name of her partner in research, who has even more extensive experience of observation in the Arctic than she does. And, basically he says I think in Russian, And then she translates that this burst of methane could happen at any time. And we talk about 50 gigatons, but nobody is certain how large it could be. And that figure she put out there was just her estimate of what 1% might be, and his guess that it could happen at any time, because the changes he's seen over the decades have been so extraordinary, and especially in the last few years.
Yeah, what's your guess, Mike? How do you, assimilate all this different knowledge from different sources about methane and how fast the permafrost is melting and stuff? Because we've got fires raging in Siberia and Alaska at the moment, and Paul Beckwith will be talking about that also in the show a little bit later on. So how do you assimilate it all, Mike, and how do you see this panning out?
I see it panning out as not good.
Right, yeah.
In a nutshell,
I'm now accepting the reality of the surreal.